Welcome everyone to this week's video. Today we are on Fish Friday number 178 and we have a good one for you today. Today's fish is a fish that has been requested by someone in the community. I have to confess I knew very little to nothing about this fish once I started, but I'm so happy that I looked into this fish because I learned so many new things. Today's fish that we're going to be talking about is the pouched lamprey. Now the pouched lamprey, or scientific name Geotria australis, again that's Geotria australis, it is part of the family Dryotiidae, which is a very small family of lampreys. In fact, there's only 2 species, and up until 2020 there was only 1 species. They recently got split out in 2020 to there's the pouched lamprey, and then, oh my goodness, I can't remember the name of the other lamprey, but there's only 2 species in the entire family. So anytime you have a family that has very few species in it, you know it's going to be a very unique family. Very bizarre sometimes. Now the pouched lamprey is found in the southern hemisphere, and more specifically in the Pacific Ocean, Australia and the surrounding areas around Australia, and all the way over to South America. And the other species found in Geotriidae is actually found only in South America, but the pouched lamprey actually seems to be found fairly consistently in both Australia and South America. And something interesting note in terms of its distribution, it is actually the only lamprey species found in New Zealand, which is pretty bizarre. You know, lampreys are very widespread throughout the world, and usually numerous species inhabit numerous places. But for New Zealand, as rich and as many endemic species are there, to have this one kind of go in there, just to me was pretty bizarre. So really kind of an interesting tidbit. Not the interesting fact of the video, but an interesting little tidbit. Now the pouched lamprey, like many other lampreys, actually does prefer clean flowing freshwater environments. You know, most lampreys are kind of in the ocean, but the ones that do migrate up into freshwater streams are do seem to prefer those sort of kind of faster, cleaner waters. But they actually, the pouched lamprey is actually, I actually do consider this a freshwater species, because a lot of the times they are found in mud burrows at the upper reaches of the coastal streams. And I want you to kind of think about that, just dwell on it as we go throughout this video. Now this is a smaller lamprey. This is not one of those extremely large lampreys. I found a lot of things that say they grow up to 60 centimeters, which would be about 24 inches long, but most of the stuff actually has them around the 40 to 50 centimeters, which would be somewhere in that like 16 to 19 inch range. So some lampreys actually get fairly large in size and fairly thick. The pouched lamprey actually seems to be on the medium to smaller side of that. They do have 2 dorsal fins. You can see one right here, and then this one towards the back. Like many other lampreys, actually, they have this thin sort of eel-like body. They have their spiracles right here. I don't know if they're technically considered spiracles. I don't know that much about lampreys, but this would be sort of your gills of they would be how gills would function. They take in water there so they can start absorbing oxygen. As with all other lampreys, they don't have any jaws. They actually have a sucker disc, but that's the actual interesting part about this, and where this lamprey got its name is that a mature male will actually develop this large baggy pouch under the eyes. Very baggy. And I mean, it's really kind of bizarre. And when I saw this picture, I was like, man, that looks like a very loose tick. If you've ever seen ticks fully engorged with blood, they kind of get this hue. It's just really bizarre. Something else to note that I didn't notice until I started looking at pictures when I was beginning to make this video. They have a very bulbous nose. Like, this nose is very cartoony almost. That's what is striking me. But if you look at some of the drawings done from the pouch lamprey, you can see how large the pouch could be, and the fact that that nose hides that suctoral disc with those inward facing teeth. Here's another one. Here's actually a kind of a drawing of the mouth itself. And that's how lampreys work. As many people know, lampreys are parasitic. They latch onto things, and they use those teeth in their suctoral disc not to bite but to rasp. And when I say rasp, if you don't know what that means, basically they're constantly rubbing all those teeth against the skin so that the skin never heals and the blood constantly flows. So that's how they're surviving, and this one is bizarre. But this baggy pouch under the eyes is just truly bizarre. Truly, truly bizarre. But in areas where it's found, it does hold cultural significance, very important cultural significance. In fact, it is a traditional Maori delicacy in New Zealand. They would catch these things as they migrated, and catching them around waterfalls and things like that. Now, I want you to think about what I said. Migrated. And that's kind of the interesting fact that is going to take up the rest of this video. The migration. I'm going to describe their life cycle, and I hope it correlates to something that many people know of. So, baby pouch lamprey live in streams for about 4 years as what's called amicetes. And those are sort of filter feeding larvae that are burrowed in those mud burrows in the back. They're just filtering out all the nutrients from the water. Then after about 4 years, they metamorphosize and they migrate downstream into the ocean, that's where they actually become parasitic. They actually develop these larger eyes. You can see here, this one seems to have a little bit larger eye than this one right here. And it seems to be a little clearer. And they're actually, I think I read on one article that they're actually fairly visual when they're out in the ocean, because they have to actually look for things to latch onto. But they actually will become parasitic on larger fish and things like that. And after a certain amount of time, which that's a little unclear, I couldn't really find anything about how long they stay out in the ocean, they actually migrate upstream to spawn. The migration can sometimes take up to 15 months. Now, that's the key here. They are spawning, they migrate out to the ocean, live for a bit, then they migrate back upstream to spawn. What does that sound like? And I hope that you're thinking of, wait, that's just like a salmon. And that's true. That's actually how a lot of fish actually kind of do this sort of reproductive strategy. But I did not think of lampreys actually ever following that deal, even though I knew that there were a lot of lampreys that followed that anadromous strategy. But this one really struck me as being truly anadromous, and the fact that they spend most of their time in freshwater, not saltwater. It really was bizarre. But that's not the only interesting fact that we're going to end the video on. Once they spawn, the adults actually exhibit parental care of the eggs, and they've been recorded living up to 105 days, wrapping themselves around the egg masses, protecting the eggs from predators. And that is interesting because I definitely do not think there is any evidence of parental care in any other lamprey species found on the globe. It's just really, really interesting to me. But we're still moving on. Now we're going to talk about the pouches and the part of the pouch that the pouch will play in their reproductive strategy. And this was really weird. They actually use the pouches for their reproduction. That's the function that they serve. They might serve some sort of function in terms of parasitism, holding extra blood or something. I'm not entirely sure. But it seems to be very prevalent that they use those pouches for their reproduction. They actually will use the pouch that develops to make a nest. And they even have documentation. And I want to make this very clear. A 24-inch lamprey doesn't weigh a lot, but they have been recorded moving stones with a volume of around 144 milliliters, which is the equivalent in size to a tennis ball. And think about that. This little worm thing is moving a tennis ball sized rock to try and make a nest. And that is truly bizarre to me. That is a huge energy expenditure, which shows that they actually devote a lot of energy to parental care. Really, really interesting. But then it goes beyond that. Not only do they use that gular pouch to actually help them carry and create a nest, in 2017, it was finally discovered or described in a scientific article what else the gular pouch does. And that gular pouch, which by the way, gular just kind of means neck pouch. Should have said that. The gular pouch was actually observed in 2017 in a scientific study that they actually will use that pouch to massage and move eggs around because their eggs are laid in clusters. And while they're hatching, during the entire hatching and incubation period, the males will actually rub their gular pouch against the eggs in this sort of like kneading dough motion, meaning they actually have some muscular control, very muscular control there. They're using their pouch to actually groom and oxygenate the eggs, essentially turning them. You've all seen how chickens will turn eggs. I hope you've seen how chicken will turn eggs. And that's basically what the pouch lamprey is doing with their gular pouches. The male is actually using that pouch to sort of move the eggs around, making sure they get completely oxygenated and that all the eggs are getting the oxygen. Because what's a lot of people don't realize, if you have a cluster of eggs, if one in the middle goes bad, once one goes bad and spoils, it will spoil the rest of the eggs very fast. So a lot of fish have different strategies to make sure that the clusters don't become spoiled very quickly by one bad egg. And to me, the amount of parental care that is exhibited by the pouch lamprey is very, very unique, absolutely bizarre. This is, a primitive fish that evolved. I think I saw in an article that they split off for some time in the late Cretaceous period, meaning this thing's been around since dinosaurs. And just a truly unique fish. And I cannot thank the person enough for recommending this fish or requesting this fish, because this was just awesome. Just awesome. But thank you guys so much again. I really appreciate it. I hope to see you again. If I don't, please be safe. Have a great day. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. If you do, I'd really appreciate it. Hope to see you again. If you'd like to support the channel, please click the link down below. It is by no means expected, but very much appreciated. Regardless, take care of yourselves. Take care of your loved ones. I'm going to go run somewhere real quick. Don't go anywhere. I have a special shout out. Special. Okay. Special shout out time. You know who you are. This was an incredible holiday gift. A member of the community made this for the channel. If I had a magnetic wall behind me, I would totally hang these. These are incredible. You know who you are. thank you. Mrs. Ping thanks you. These are amazing. And thank you guys so much again for the love and support of the channel. This channel has gone so much farther than I ever thought it would. It's awesome. Thank you guys so much again. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your loved ones. And peace.